Is there any way to do screenshot?
Yo, what's up, fam? Episode 12 with Chaos Kevin. I don't even know why didn't you put it as like your name, Chaos Kevin, bro?
You should have told me. You should have
doing?
told me while we were, just talking before.
Yeah, like honestly, I don't know why it like didn't happen like that, but whatever. It's all good, bro. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me here.
We were trying to do Instagram and I can already tell it's not working.
It's fine.
It was immediately like, this doesn't make any sense. It's okay though. We'll eventually get Instagram working at some point, which is fine. I'm gonna like do it on my phone, or I'm gonna try to do it on my phone while I do it, bro.
But thankfully, my computer is working and it's charging.
Oh yeah, he almost didn't make it. He was like, dude, my computer is completely blown. Like, what's happening? And I'm like, all right, well, we're just gonna do the best that we can do then. Am I right?
Yeah,
bro. So for the people, how did you get into entrepreneurship and real estate? Yes. Who is Chaos Kevin?
So my name is KEVIN Koa. People call me the Chaos Kevin, and I think we'll explain that later in the podcast.
No, explain it right now. Well, actually, start with what? No, never mind. Start with how you got into real estate, and then I want to know the name because I don't know the name.
Oh, really? You don't?
No.
Oh, okay. So I got into real estate straight out of high school, and the reason why I kind of got into real estate was because I did not get into the school I wanted to go to in my senior year, or like second semester of my senior year. I applied for UC Irvine. That was a school that I was trying to get into, and looking at my grade and my everything, like.
How old are you?
I'm 21.
Oh my god. You're like a little kid.
But I got into it because I didn't get into the school I wanted to. I thought I was going to get in with the grades that I had and the test scores that I had. Didn't get into it, and I was kind of forced to go into a community college, which I absolutely did not enjoy every minute of it. So I was taking all these courses by myself. Didn't have any friends, and about 6 or 7 weeks into community college, I was like, you know what, I'm forget about it. I'm just gonna take a semester off and see what I want to do. And that's when I kind of got into entrepreneurship. Is like, hey, if I drop out of college, what am I gonna do? So I kind of looked around, did some research, listened to YouTube, Graham Stephan and all those guys. And I think one of the only thing that I had without a college degree that I can get into was real estate. So I got into real estate thinking, oh, I'm going to be a real estate agent just like everybody else. But along the way, it was right before COVID that I finished the course. I was going to take the test, and I was going to take my become a real estate agent. But COVID stopped the testing process in California. I'm sure you know, for at least like 9 or 10 months. So I was just couldn't take the test. So along the way, I was
kind of trying to become one in California.
Yeah, I'm from California.
Irvine. I didn't know that, bro. We're Irvine? Okay.
Yeah. I grew up there, middle school, high school, and a little bit of college.
Okay.
So I was trying to take the test, and it halted for like 10 months. So along the way, I was, already following enough entrepreneurs like Gary Vee, Max Maxwell, all these real estate people. And I ended up running across real ATM business along the way. And I did that for a little bit, like ATM business where you put the money, put the card in, and you get the cash. I did that for a very little bit, and then ended up finding real estate wholesaling because I was watching all these YouTube videos on entrepreneurship, real estate, ATM business, and it just kind of led me here. And then I signed up for Wholesaling Inc., and I did a couple of wholesale deals there, and then I eventually found out about Pace. Because of the YouTube algorithm.
He's part of Sub2, and Sub2, for the people who are listening to this for the first time, is Pace Morby's mentorship. We're both part of it. I'm wearing his hat right now. It's creative financing, which we're not going to talk about at all. It's just a really special way of buying houses, basically, or buying real estate. But that's how we know each other. And then I just want to do that little disclaimer of what that is. So keep going.
Yeah. And then I eventually transitioned into creative financing. So I think it trickled down from entrepreneurship, ATM business, wholesaling, and then I got funneled into creative finance through like YouTube algorithms. But I think that's how I got started into real estate, really.
Nice. So why are you named Chaos Kevin? Everyone wants to know.
So in step 2, we do a weekly Q&A. And I had a deal with a real estate agent, and it was a wholesale deal. Should I explain what wholesaling is?
No, they know what wholesaling.
Okay.
Well, wholesaling, I'll just do it real quick for anyone who doesn't know. It's basically where you get a property under contract and you sell the contract. But I
Yeah.
don't think that's as important. Just
Yeah.
keep going.
Yeah. So I had a really, really good deal that I was about to lock up under contract, but real estate agent was saying, hey, you need to put hard earnest money down, and you need to do all these little contingencies for me to secure the deal. And I was like pretty sure it was a really good deal. I ran the numbers like 10 different times. I ran the comps, I ran the renovation. I asked like 10 different people. Everybody said it was a really good deal. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to put, $3,000 hard earnest money down and not be able to get back. And not have,
Hard. So,
yeah,
like, if you put the earnest money down, you lost it if you didn't wholesale it?
yeah. Or if I didn't close on it, I would have lost it.
Okay.
And at that point, I was still living with my mom, so I didn't have any money to do that kind of stuff. Um, so on the Q&A, I said, hey, Pace, I have this really, really good deal. I just don't know what to do with it. It's a really good deal. I ran the numbers, and Pace just says, lock it up. Call the realtor right now. And me, I was like pretty brand new into real estate. I was probably into it like 6 or 7 months. I done only few deals at that point. And I was like, no, Pace, I can't do that because realtor's gonna think I'm a wholesaler. Realtor's gonna think I don't have any money. He's not gonna. He doesn't. He might find out I live with my mom. Um, but then he was like, everybody in the chat was saying, hey, go call the real estate agent. So I end up calling the real estate agent, and then I end up locking that contract up. And then I found a partner
On the
that
Q&A?
yeah, I found a partner that can close on it. He ran the numbers and he partnered on the deal and he put the money for me. So right after I got off the phone call, like the Zoom group chat, the Zoom chat, it went
Just went
off.
crazy.
Everybody was like, "Oh
So
my
it was
god,
like,
that's so good!"
look at that.
Yeah, I should have. I know I have a recording of it. I listened to it a couple times, and after the phone call
Hilarious.
Pace was like, "You know what, Kevin? Like, this is what you need to do. Is you need to like go out and create this chaos." Because you just got a deal by creating a chaos. So he kind of named me, Chaos Kevin.
I love it.
Yeah,
When Pace dubs a name, it sticks usually,
it's a good
generally speaking.
memory. Yeah, people
like
remember you forever.
Yeah, I love that stuff, bro.
Yeah.
So, all right, bro. So, right now, how long have you been in business now?
Year and a half.
Year and a half.
Yeah.
What are your struggles now? What stage are you at in your business, and what are the current struggles?
So one of my struggles, I think, is I have a way too high of expectation for myself than I could catch up reasonably, right? So it's
Explain that.
so right now I do about 1 to 2 deals a month,
Mhm.
cash or creative, and I have like 3 or 4 under contract currently in escrow.
Okay.
And if a 2 month, Kevin from 2 months ago, 3 months ago saw what I had, I would have been pretty ecstatic that I have, you know, 3 or 4 deals, and I do consistently 1 to 2 deals a month. Because before 3 or 4 months ago, I was maybe doing 1 deal a month, maybe. But now that I've gotten traction and I know the experience and I know how to do the deals. Like I up my numbers about 1 to 2 deals a month, and then I have deals in escrow that are contracts that are about to be closed. Um, I have my expectation right now is no longer I want to do 1 or 2 deals a month. I want to be at least doing 5 to 6 deals a month, and my expectation is like right here, but my actual reality is down here, and it kind of plays both ways because it's such a big motivating factor for me. But then sometimes I don't meet that expectation. I see the too big of a difference.
So wait a minute, hold on. I'm going to stop you. So, okay, so when did you start consistently doing 1 to 2 deals a month?
Just about recently, ever since I moved to Phoenix and a couple months
Which
before
was
that,
when?
I'll say beginning of this year.
Okay, so literally like 2 months ago.
Yeah,
It's hilarious how your struggle is. I hit 1 to 2 months 2 months ago, and now I want 4 to 6, and I'm not getting there fast enough. It's like, what do
right,
you mean, bro? You're about to get there.
right,
You're like on a trajectory like this. You're like
yeah,
going all the way up, bro. I just love that. That's not a problem.
yeah,
But it is funny in the sense that that is a common mindset issue. I deal with that one where it's like, man, because I'm also at like 1 to 2 deals a month.
uh-huh.
And it's like, man, like this is super annoying. Like I want to be booming through this. Like this is aggravating that I'm only getting like 1 to 2 deals a month. Like I
Mhm.
want to be doing a lot more. Um, I want to be hitting like 5 to 6 deals a month or whatever, right?
Right,
But it is interesting because it's something that I've noticed with a lot of entrepreneurs like us is like it's always going to be a thing where we're never satisfied.
right,
It's always going to be a thing where it's like as soon as you hit 5 to 6, it's like, okay, now I want 6 to 12,
right,
right?
right.
The day it happens, that's
Yeah,
what's going to happen, which is
yeah.
just it just is what it is.
Hmm.
So I like it. I like that's the struggle. That's definitely the mindset struggle is I'm assuming dealing with that, right? Like so how do you deal with that, with the fact that you're like, man, I'm not reaching my expectations right now
How do I deal with the fact that I'm not reaching my goals um,
at the moment?
at the moment?
Because you are reaching your goals. You're just not. It's funny because it's like you literally just like set this goal
Right,
very recently. So I wouldn't say you're not hitting it, but what's happening, I'm assuming, is that it's kind of like making you annoyed that you're not hitting it faster, right?
right, right.
Because you're like, man, what so what do you do about that? Do you like, does it like give you stress, or like is it just annoying? How does it feel, and how do you deal with that, whatever that feeling is?
Oh, it's um, I kind of think about the people that kind of started along with me
Mm-hmm.
because I remember the people that used to go to the daily dials with me. I remember people that used to go on the Q&A.
The daily dials, for anyone who knows, is a thing also in sub two where we practice how to talk to sellers. So keep going.
Yes, and me knowing that, and I'm sure you have seen Jonah too, is there's a lot of people that quit along the way that used to be at the daily dial, that used to be at the Q&A, that used to show up to every single Zooms, and they're no longer in even in this business. So just the fact that like I am still standing here in this real estate game, like kind of doing like cranking through, is
Nice.
already such a big win in itself. And um it's like, okay, well, I just got to stick through it to beat like 90% of the competition. Um, but then this is also, and I want to say one more thing on how I overcome this. And this might not work for a lot of people, but I give myself, hey, it's okay. You're only, this many years old. You're only like 18 months into this game. There's other people that were into it a lot longer that are doing just about the same. So it kind of bring my expectation down a little bit lower. Um, it just gets me.
It doesn't bring your expectations down. It makes it where you're like, it's chill. I haven't reached my goals yet. It's fine.
Mhm.
It's cool.
Yeah,
I'm gonna live.
yeah.
Right.
So
I like that. That's hilarious. I mean, not hilarious. It's not funny, but to me, it's funny because I deal with the exact same thing,
right,
and
because
it's a big
you're
one.
you and I are like always looking for the next thing, right?
Right.
Like I'm not like, okay, now I got one deal this month. Okay, well let's just chill for a couple of weeks, and then if I run out of money, I'll go start door knocking again. It's
Right.
not that kind of thing that we have the same mindset about. So
Right. You're a visionary type, right? I
yeah,
think.
hundred
Yeah, I
percent.
can tell. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Do you think you're gonna want to get a partner? This is something I've been thinking about, and I'm kind of curious what you think.
um, s- so funny you ask because I was actually literally thinking about this the whole week,
Yeah.
and because I look at Pace and Cody's partnerships.
Mm-hmm.
Works out phenomenal. Everybody, each party fills in each person's empty spaces. However, I've also seen uh, business partnerships that end horribly
Mm-hmm.
and drawn back to square one. Right?
Right.
I've seen people doing 5 to 10 deals. Their partnership breaks. They spend months and months, dissolving that LLC, or letting each other go, and liquidating their assets, and they're back to square one. And I just don't want to be in that space where, hey, like, let's get into a partnership. We do a little bit and it doesn't work well. I'm back to square one, and now I'm kind of starting all over again. That's my biggest fear.
That's your biggest fear, is partnering up.
Yeah, because I know the value in partnerships. Like, I've done partnerships, JV deals, but no LLC partners. And I'm scared that I'll be drawn back to square one because the other party doesn't fulfill it. Because I'm pretty sure, like, if I do a partnership, and this is just me, of course, is I'm gonna bring things to the table that I promise. But you can't really guarantee that on the other person's point of view. So it's like, I don't want to be frustrated. I'd rather just do my own thing and just blame myself if things don't go right. And that's just how I view partnerships. I
Yeah,
want to get your thoughts too.
100%. I mean, that's 100% how I feel. I feel like I'm also like you. You and me are very similar. Guys, this is also really the first time I've talked to Kevin, like
Yeah.
really, like for a long extended time. I mean, it's the same thing with me, is like I don't understand the dating process. I don't understand how that even works. I sort of get it. You're direct to seller, right? You run a direct to seller model.
I used to, yeah.
Okay. Do you do JV now?
Yeah, I do JV deals now.
See, like I don't even know how you start that as a JV. Anyways, but I don't get it. I don't understand how you start that dating process that way. Something I'm gonna eventually ask Pace or ask somebody else. But it's like it's interesting, the idea of a partnership, because it's like a marriage. So it's one of those things where it's like, is it even worth it? It seems like really only in really opportune times. I've seen it, people who look for partnerships, it can like work really well, like Cody and Pace. But then again, Pace has done it where he's had like, I think 2 or 3 partnerships and they all fail, all of them,
Right.
because they
Right.
just were not on the same page, right?
Mhm.
So I don't know. I just was like thinking about it because like the thing is, I can do integrator stuff. Like I have pretty good systems, but it's really annoying. Be
Yeah.
so cool if I had somebody to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just thinking about that.
But
So
also, but also for me, sorry to interrupt, but
go
I
for
like
it.
the control aspect of it, right? So let's just say, like,
Sure.
you get into a partnership and you hold real estate together. And if that partnership doesn't work out, all the portfolio that you built out, you basically it gets cut into half, and the other person takes the other 50%, and who gets what. And I just like to have my own security. Like, I think personally, I will do like wholesale fix and flip businesses with other people, but I would never hold anything with other people.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
And the reason being that, like, where do you think that comes from? Because, like, what makes you? How do I like say that right? What's the right question there? Like, where do you think that comes from? Do you think it's just from what people have told you and like the risks that are there? Because sometimes it can work.
Uh, yes, I think it's what I hear from other people, and obviously I only hear one side of the story. Um, but nonetheless, when partnerships, when p- it's like, it takes long. It's not easy to just dissolve a partnership, if you're far into it. So for me, I rather, you know not I rather stay where I'm at and not be in a partnership than become a partnership and have the risk of me going back a couple steps.
I gotcha. I
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah.
So okay. So what fears do you have? Any fears right now? Fear of a partnership is one thing that's kind of different. That's not really what I'm talking about.
Hmm.
Do you think there are any, I guess I would say, limiting beliefs for you right now in your business that you think might be holding you back? I'll give an example before you answer that. I'll give an example of mine that I recently like found out when I went to Pace's mastermind was Oh, I'm not where I want to be because I'm afraid of spending money. Like, I
Mm,
really don't want to spend money. I want to preserve as much of it as I can. And I think that probably came from my family. And like growing up, it was a lot of, like make sure you save money. Anything can happen. You got to make sure that like you have a nest egg so that when, you know, the shit hits the fan, you can do something about it and you're not decked immediately. And obviously there's truth to that too, but I realized it was getting to a point where it's like, no, 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 no. I have 50% of the money I don't know I'm like doing nothing with.
mm,
Like I'm paying myself well, and then I'm just got like a bunch of money here that I'm not utilizing, which is not good. I need to start hiring people. I need to start like expanding the business. Like, what am I doing? This is keeping me back. This fear that kind of translates from how I grew up and what I was learning. So
yeah.
I don't know if you've self-analyzed that much, but have you ever thought of any, do you think there are any limiting beliefs you have right now?
Um, Fear of money is definitely one of the fears that now that you say it, that I do that
Fear
I
of having money or spending money, or
have
what about money?
fear of spending money.
Okay.
Um, because I just moved out of my parents' house about a month ago. I think exactly 4 weeks ago today on Thursday was
A month ago?
yeah, exactly a month ago. So um,
Round of applause.
yes,
Round of applause right there, bro. Congrats.
yeah, thank you. It was a big leap of faith for me,
Hmm.
and and now that I have responsibilities, now that I have bills to pay, and um, I can't, I don't want to go back to my parents' house or things like that. Spending money, the fear of spending money, it actually gotten more attention for me, just because, hey, as an entrepreneur, if I don't have deals closing, how am I gonna really afford this, right? And I'm just starting out in my, I'll say, like, adult life, like really moving out of my parents' house, because even if I don't make any money in parents' house, I still have food, I still have the housing, I just don't have any discretional spending. But right now, it's kind of flipped, right? If I really don't make any money, um, then I really have no place to go or
Right.
no food to eat. Not that I'm like about to be homeless. Um,
But we have to hunt for we have to hunt for our food while most people just have a check and they know they're gonna have a check. Or like
right,
we have to like make sure the business is running, otherwise we get kicked on the street and like we just are like screwed for a little while until either A, we start another business, or B, we have to find a job or something like that. And your
right,
fear
right.
is that that might happen. Am I right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. And I think that fear may have played a good role or a bad role,
Mm-hmm.
just because, like, once I don't have that cushion or that safety net, it makes you a little bit more anxious, and you talk certain way, that you do certain things that are not, that you necessarily wouldn't do, just exactly like commission breath, right? Like I have
Explain. What do you mean? What do you say that you wouldn't do, or what would you do that you wouldn't do?
um so I mean, one of the easy example is going out, right? Going out to eat, going out, hanging out with friends. Like I have completely cut that out of my life, like for now, for the last couple of weeks, just
Mm-hmm.
because, hey, like that those are discretional spending, and I could go grocery shop and make food at home, and that could save me a couple $100 a month. Um, so like there's certain things that I cut out, and there's certain things that I want to, like, hey, I want to go out and meet with people. I want to go out and ha- to take people to dinner, but those things are just like not available like very comfortably. So um, that's
Okay,
kind of,
man.
yeah,
I got you. Like I understand that that's like different. I mean, I don't know, like if you're at that point where you're just starting your business and like you just started like adult life where you are just getting in the income anyways, where you can do that. That's
yeah,
like a very reasonable fear. I mean, I don't know where you're at in your business right now, but um I understand. So here's what I'm proposing, because I think I was you not that long ago.
Mhm.
What number do you have to have in the bank where you can start going out again and you can start doing things that you actually want to do? Have you thought of the number?
Um, uh, that's kind of hard to explain because like 10K in the bank, it could last me a couple months. 100K in the bank lasts me a year. But then for me, it's more of like um, how passive it is, like that stability of passive income.
Hmm.
Um, Man, that's you asked
So
really
it's
good
it's
questions.
rental. It's rental. It's rental income. You're not going to feel comfortable until you have rental income. Basically, is what you're saying, that you know is always going to come in.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I understand that. That can make sense. I think, because I want you to be enjoying going out and having a good time too, as a 21-year-old,
Hmm.
is also, I think you should come up with a number based on your wholesale deals too, where you're like, okay, I'm gonna calm down and I'm gonna like enjoy life a little bit, because I mean, I mean, obviously, right, that you could do one Airbnb deal and get 10K a month or something like Pace has talked about.
Yeah,
But usually when starting out, or what I've noticed is that it takes a while to get the passive to where it's covering everything.
yeah.
Once you get the passive to cover everything, that's financial independence,
Right.
right? If you I would suggest, because I had this, just is like actually come up with like okay, if I've made, I don't know, 10K to me, not just 10K in general, but like there's 10K getting paid to me every single month for the past 2 months or something, I'm going to relax and I'm going to reward myself, right? Because that's something we don't do as entrepreneurs, is we don't reward ourselves ever. And it's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge to reward yourself when something happens that's really, really good, right?
Mm. Yeah.
I think I think it's really key for anyone who's listening that getting rewards for yourself when you do something is really important for your like long-term stability of like you being able to do this and being able to keep doing this.
Right.
Um, so I definitely, that's my challenge to you right now, is I kind of want you to think like, okay, how much until I can start eating out again? How
Yeah.
much until I can like, like do something fun with some friends or do a trip or something. I don't know.
Hmm.
Because like it makes life, you want to be enjoying life while it's happening, you know?
Yeah. Right. You miss out on a lot of moments that you could have had.
Yeah.
Uh,
And it's just more fun.
yeah. And
Um,
I think a lot of has to do with like this is like kind of real estate related. Is like my assignment fees have been like very very small, so it's like
what are you
doesn't
averaging?
like I closed a deal last week. It was 2,500 assignment fee, but I actually end up taking like only like 1,600, and then I
Hmm.
closed a deal the week before. It was 2 grand. The week before that, I closed a 6,600, but that was kind of eaten up with all the moving expenses. So trying to
You and me
get.
can talk more real estate after the podcast,
Oh
because
yeah,
I'll help you out with that type of stuff too.
yeah, yeah,
Because that's well, actually, we're going to talk a little bit about it right now, because I think that might also be another mindset belief that's causing that. So I'm going to delve into it a little bit, because that's what I noticed this with myself. When I started, my first deal was 10K and I literally was over the moon. Before I made that 10K, I'd never made more than 10K in a year my entire life.
right.
So I made 10K and I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. Right. And then I couldn't get over 30K. 30K, I was like, I literally felt like I don't deserve to make more than 30K on a wholesale deal ever. Like
Mm,
if I'm asking too much for my buyers. I might not even sell it, and then I have to deal with the stress of not selling it.
right.
Like I might have been able to make more, but at least I got that quick 30K. That's a
Yeah,
limiting belief, right? If you know something is worth more, you deserve the money that you're getting. Do you think something like that might be happening with you with the 1200 and 6600? Like, do you think those were honestly small deals, or do you think you might have been able to bring in more?
Yeah, I could have definitely brought in more. Now that it's like I want
Do
to
you
be.
think it's
I want
something
to be
like
like. What was that?
do you think it's something like what I described?
Yeah, yeah. It's like, I want to be the nice, wholesaler. Like bring good deals, good
Right.
reputation. But then it's like, okay, well, let me eat first, and then you can eat
Right.
too. Um,
Right.
so I always discount first. Like it's a terrible sales tactic, but I always discount first.
What do you mean?
Like when like let's say I bring them a deal and the buyer says, I think it's a little too high. Okay, then would you do half the price? You know what I mean?
I want to. We need to get you into when we get you enough money. You should just do the Kegley course because Kegley talks about selling deals a lot, right? I'm an Astro and a Sub 2 student.
Mhm.
That is the worst thing you could do ever. Is
Yeah,
immediately do that. What you got to first do is just be like, okay, that's fine, because you'll train your buyers to ask for discounts if you give them,
yeah.
right? Um, but what do you think? What do you think is preventing you from asking for more money than what you're doing right now?
Um, uh, scarcity mindset. I think in that there's very small buyers. There's very few buyers that I can really work with, and I have a deal that can just fall apart with if that buyer just decides not to back out.
Explain more.
Um, so my very first deal, it was a $10,000 assignment piece supposedly. We got a buyer at 10,000, and then we find that we come to the closing table like a couple of days before. There's a $7,000 utility lien that the seller did not pay, and the seller
Classic.
had no intention of paying because she didn't want to you know she didn't want to deal with it. And instead of me saying, well, that's your responsibility to pay. You stay in the house. You got to pay for the utility bills. And the seller she said she was going to cancel if she didn't, you know, if we didn't execute on it. Um, and I immediately said, okay, I'll pay it. And right there and then, I just lost $7,000. I gave 70% discount on my deal. So um, it's like fear of losing the deal, and I think it has to do with scarcity mindset. Like, hey, like if I don't get this to close, then I might not have money. So I'm just gonna take a little bit of the at the very least, $3,000 and get the deal to work rather than uh, canceling on it and making like a 20K assignment fee on the next one. So I think that's the mindset issue for me.
I think that one actually I might have done the same, to be honest. I might have not done it different. I would have negotiated with the seller,
Yeah,
but that's a little bit different in my opinion. That one was just more like because I mean, if she wouldn't have, I mean, sellers sometimes act crazy, and then for you to do that, you either A, have to sue her or B, negotiate because she's like, she has to sign the closing papers, right? And 3K is better than nothing. But the only
yeah,
time you do that would be if you're trying to, you have to be at a state where it's like, okay, you know what? Nope, I'm going to scare the hell out of you. I'm going to sue you because I don't want to be screwed with anymore. Which
yeah,
is which if you're just starting out, which is like, or just starting to make money, that's not worth it. You just need the money now. I don't
right.
know about that one. I'm talking more, give me like an experience where you've you sent out a deal and you're like, I feel like I could get more money, but I'm not going to because
Huh. Uh,
or or is it that you don't know how much you can get it for?
mm, yeah, I think partially the second part is true because I have always never sold my own deals.
Gotcha. Who sells your
So
deals?
I have a like in Florida, I always go to Jason Lombardi. He sells all my deals.
Who is he?
He's a substitute student in Tampa, and he has a pretty good buyers list. I mean, he doesn't. He knows this guy from New Western, and
How does it work with him?
I just do a 50-50 with him.
But does he just okay? So you're not the one even selling the deals.
Yeah, yeah.
So I mean, that's not. I mean, then that's not even your fault. That means he's not asking enough money. Or we just not or we just locking it up too low. Like what I'm trying to tease out here, why I'm asking you these questions is like, I'm not sure if it's a mindset thing or if it's just like a practical, like, I just don't know what I can get. Like I haven't created a buy formula in Florida or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. Because you could just have a terrible disposition wholesaler. Or you could be, like, or what we need to do is build out a buyer's list.
Oh, okay. Okay, I think I understand the question now. And I understood it. Now I know the answer. I think on every single deal, I never go more than 10K. I always lock it up way too high just for me to barely push to 10K.
Why?
But then you try to push to 10K, you're not always going to get the 10,000. You might get, 8,000.
So wait, why do you lock it up too high?
It's because I just want any deal.
It's the scarcity mindset then.
So
that's where we're getting back. It's the scarcity mindset of like, oh my God, I have a deal. I want to give them enough money where I get something, even if I don't really, I know I could get it lower, but I'm just going to overpay more than I need to so that I get something. Is that right?
Yes. If I try to get it too low, I might lose the deal.
Right.
So I try to please the seller and say, okay, I can do it. It's okay if I only make $2,000. You get to keep it all. And I think that's my mindset is I never, like, literally, now that I think about it, every time I lock up a deal, I never even shoot for 15K. It's like, okay, can I make 10K on this? Okay, if I need to make 10K, what do you think I need to be at? Okay, let me lock it up. Not okay, well, let me at least get 20K, and then let's get the seller even lower.
Right.
Now
right.
I know.
So how are we going to change that?
I think here's what will change that is if you have enough deal flow, that losing out on 5K is not the end of the world, because you not spending that time on 5K deal can net you like a 20K on another deal, right? Because typically what I've realized is smallest deals take the most effort. Like they're the most headache. So I think I have to really be really mindful of maybe I need to set like a minimum standard for myself.
I'm going to give you some suggestions because you're dealing with problems I dealt with. So these are direct to seller deals?
It used to, yes.
Used to be. What are they right now?
I do JV deals now.
So who's negotiating with a seller?
Me.
So you're JVing on the disposition, right?
Yes. So wholesaler bring like a dead wholesaler.
You're still talking to the seller though. That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Okay. So you're talking to the seller. Disposition wholesaler comes to you and is like, hey, we need to get it for this. And then what happens? Do you give your price to the seller? Is that like what's happening? Is like, okay, now I'm just going to give them 10K less than that. I'm going to be like, this is what I can do. Or how does it go?
That's basically how it goes.
Okay. So that's what I thought. Basically, it just sounds like what we need to do is just get you better at negotiating, in my opinion, is like figuring out like, okay, getting them to get the price first, that type of stuff. In my opinion, that seems to just be the issue, is that you're immediately like, fuck it, I'm going to just tell them a price where I get 10K instead of instead of, because here's the thing that's happening. You're future tripping, thinking that if I ask for too low, then they're just going to say, screw you, and then never talk to you again.
Right.
That's what you're thinking, right? That you're
Exactly.
going to just lose it. That's
Yeah.
never how it happens with a seller, ever. What happens is you say, 150K below or whatever. That's what I do. I go like 150K below my MAO, something like that. And then they're usually like, oh, what? You kidding me? And I'm like, look, like I've made things like this work before. Like, where was your head at? Like, what were you thinking? What do you think we can do in order to make this work? And then they'll give out a number, and then you can work from there to a point where you're making more than 10K, right?
Yeah.
That's just a negotiation thing that we need to work on. But it's also, you're right, it's also a mindset that I want to break for you right now. Is it's just not true. Sellers, like sellers should get offended. If you're not getting it right, sellers should be constantly offended at you. And then you just bring it back to them and you're like, that's okay. Like I'm okay with you being offended right now, and just match them. Match their tone and match it and be like, I understand you think that's a lot. Where was your head at? Like what do you think this is, or whatever? Because I don't think I've ever had a seller where I give an offer where then they immediately just hang up the phone, unless you haven't built any rapport. That means you haven't built any rapport. If they like you even a little bit, you can make it work.
Right.
But yeah, I would say, because you should watch the one I did with Daniel Giano. That was the best one I've ever had. I think he created a whole process, and one of the parts is defining that fear. At least we put a name to it now. Because I bet, have you consciously even thought of it?
No, I never really thought of it. I feel like this is therapy.
I've gotten that 3 times now.
No, I really feel like this is therapy. Yeah, like you're really diagnosing my problems, and I never thought I had this problem until you brought it out of me.
Yeah. So there you go. That's the first step, is oh shit, I have a problem. And now it's okay, now we're going to tackle it head on. Because I know you take action. That's why you're called Chaos Kevin, right? Obviously. That's why you're good at taking action. It is really hard for humans to self-analyze and figure out what's keeping them back. Right?
Yeah.
So it is pretty difficult, and I'm excited to hear how it goes with the next seller about with that fear. What else? What other fears do you think you might have, or other mindset issues you might have?
Fear of not getting there quick enough.
Okay, explain.
I think I'm very fortunate to have gone into this real estate creative financing world. And I was really just barely out of, college. And but then I compare myself with the people that are with my friends and the people that are in this real estate
There it
business.
is.
Right. And there's always that one person, there's always that group of people that are
Doing
way
better
ahead of me.
Right.
And you never see the people that are doing less than you, right? Or at least I don't. So diagnose me, please.
I'm not diagnosing you. I'm just letting you know that these are just all things that we all deal with. That's another one. I still deal with that one where I'm like, man, I want to beat all of my fucking friends. Excuse me. Let's not swear. I want to beat all of my friends. I want to literally toast them out of the water, because they had been beating me for years. I had been doing volunteer work and all sorts of other stuff. So I never made that much money, while they're all, in SF with tech jobs making 100 to 200K right out of college.
Right.
Or whatever, maybe 60, whatever, way more than I had ever made, right? The issue with that is that energy is it's a toxic energy, right? That's a toxic motivator. It is motivating, right? It does motivate you, but it puts you in a really bad place when you're with other people, right? That's something that I've noticed, is that it's such a better one when you start making it more like, no, I'm so happy they're doing so well. I'm just going to focus on me. I'm going to focus on what I'm doing right now because I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. It's such a hard thing of like, it's like Gary Vee talks a lot about this. You know, Gary Vee?
Yeah, Gary Vee.
It's literally his whole thing is like patience. You're 21. You're so goddamn young. I'm surprised you have friends making money. Most 21-year-olds are like in college making literally nothing.
Oh,
But
no, not like my college friends, but like people like you and people that are in real estate.
I mean, I feel it, dude. Like I sometimes I'm like, man, I want to beat pace. Like sometimes I get that urge to like, yo, I want to get to the point where I'm competing with pace at like
Yeah.
some point. Like I get energized by that a little bit.
Me too.
But there's a positive to it and then like a negative to it. The negative is when you start feeling bad about yourself because of it. So yeah, man. I mean, it's one of those ones where I would say identify it and for sure, like, remember that, like, where you are is very different than where I am or where Paces am. Like, honestly, like, I'm willing to bet that Pace when he was 21 was doing what I was doing, which when I was 21, which was just chasing girls and drinking alcohol. I guess he didn't drink alcohol, but like chasing girls, like literally screwing around where you're like starting a business.
Yeah.
Like I want to just say FYI, you're light years ahead than most people at your age. But then also, more on top of that, it's like it's all about patience, man.
Yeah.
Like that's my advice to you. Like honestly, is just like realize that you're going to be patient. That it's a long game. It's a very long game, and you're going to be a millionaire by the time you're my age, and I'm not a millionaire because you're already hitting it at 21. 7 years. I'm 28. I'm 27. I'm about to be 28 in like a month. So it's a long game, man. It also what comforts me with Pace is that he started at like 32. Where I'm like, I'm already ahead of Pace because of I got a head start on him, and you got a head start on both of us.
Yeah.
So, anyway, there's my therapy. That's my little therapy session. So,
I want to ask you a question because
oh,
where do you think that, like, I don't know what to call it, like competitiveness / urgency? For me, I think it comes from school because, like in school, you know how there's like the regular math, and then you're like 1 grade above. There's 2 grade above. There's always that like advanced people, and I was never advanced in school, right? So I always like I think I'm thirsty for that kind of upgrade. Does that kind of make sense?
yeah. I mean, you're comparing yourself to others. What you're doing is that what you're doing. I mean, okay. First off, it's really a problem when you're comparing yourself to others. But because of that, you say, screw the entrepreneurship, screw what I want to do. I'm going to go get a tech job or whatever. Because you could go get a job and make 60K a year tomorrow if you wanted to. Like you could easily do something like that, right? But instead of that, even if you're comparing yourself to others, what you're doing is you're still making it happen so that you beat everybody else, right? So first off, I want to applaud you there. And then second off, yeah, like it's just the only advice I would give is that it's literally not serving you. It can serve you and it cannot serve you. Competitiveness will serve you in the sense that like, okay, well, like I want to beat Jonah. Well, then let's freaking go. Let's put in 15 hours a day or whatever. Like I'm going to call 500 agents or whatever you do, or like whatever it is. That use it in that sense. Have it fuel you. Here's a good way of doing it. Here's how I think of it. I think of it as demons chasing me. My demons, I put them behind me to chase me forward instead of putting the demons in front of me and then I have to fight them. And that stops me from running. Right? Wow. So it depends. I don't think it's necessarily bad to be competitive. That's what you are. You're competitive. but just make sure it's pushing you in the right direction, which I think you're doing. So I think you're doing fine. I don't even necessarily think it's a barrier. Unless, but like making yourself feel bad about it might be the issue.
Okay.
That's what I think it might be. Is that it, like, do you feel really bad when you see somebody, getting like a 100K deal or 150K deal? Like, I get it. Like, I 100% at one point felt that way too.
Mm-hmm.
Does it like make you like feel bad when you see that?
Yes.
100%. Like, I get it. Like, I did too, because
Yeah.
before I had ever made deals like that, that's what it is. The difference is that you already have the ability to do that. It is already foretold in the future, because I know you, that you're going to get a 100K deal. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. And once you do it, you're going to see it and then like start really celebrating other people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it is a hard thing to get over, especially at like your stage.
Yeah.
And like, but don't worry about it, man. I'm just, this is fun. This is fun to see. This is fun for me. I'm loving this.
I love it too. Like I'm like literally jotting down
notes.
Yeah, like a bunch of notes.
I love it. I love it. So, my man, what would you say to yourself from where you are now? What would you say to yourself on the first day you started with all the knowledge that you know now?
What did other people say?
I don't want to know what other people said. What would you say?
If I start, what advice would I give to them? What advice would I give
So you just started day one
in real estate?
Yeah. You remember yourself day one when you
Yes.
just started?
Yes.
What advice would you give to yourself now being where you are?
I wish I invested more into relationships. And the reason being is because, quick story, my parents are moving back to Southern California from Las Vegas, and I am in charge of setting their house as an Airbnb. And me being virtual here in Phoenix, I didn't have any resources. I didn't have any cleaners. I didn't have any handyman, whatever. And it took me probably almost a whole day on Monday. Today's Thursday. On Monday, I spent the whole day trying to find cleaners that would give me a good number. It was a 2,000 square foot house. We got it cleaned up at $100 per clean for the house. But when I was calling around the people on Google, like they were all charging me $250 to $280. But then on Tuesday, I was like, all right, I'm just gonna make a post on Instagram and say, hey, do you guys have any cleaners in Las Vegas? I can do Airbnb cleaning. And then within 2 hours, I got Stan, one of substitutes me. He gave me a contact to one of his former cleaners, and I call her up. I ask her, how much would you charge? And she says, $120. And that was just one post that I made, and the relationships that I had built. So I'm like, now that I think about it, I wish I had invested in more relationship with people like you, people like Dan Keanu, people like Pace, people like that are doing way more deals than me, because I can get into their circle and I can save. For this case, it was a one whole day of trying to find cleaners.
So how would you recommend to somebody who's starting out, because you and me are blessed to be part of this amazing community stuff too.
Right.
How would you recommend to the guy who just started, how should they create those relationships?
I think appreciating people out of the blue. Have you read the book Giftology?
No.
It's a book on how to give gifts. And one thing that they say that stuck out to me the most was give unexpectedly, right? So what that means is, instead of giving a Christmas gift, instead of giving a birthday gift, you would literally pick a random date. Let's just say September, 21st. I don't even know what that day is. Or today, today is just a normal day. I would actually, this is what I actually do is every day I go through my contacts, and I pick one person that I just want to appreciate. And I say, you know what? Hey, brother, I do a voicemail. Hey, brother, I'm so thankful to have you in my life. You've really changed the trajectory of my life, and I honestly don't know where I'll be if you didn't give me if you didn't give me this pointer, or So my friend Aaron Weitzman is out in Southern California. He gave me this advice. Hey, like if something goes terribly wrong, you have 5 minutes to complain. 5 minutes to blame other people. Blah blah blah. And after 5 minutes is over, I you keep your head up and you go run towards your goals. And he gave me that advice when I had 4 deals fall through last week, 4 back to back. Every one a day. Yeah. And I was just super energy drained. It was Friday night. Aaron calls me up and he's like, hey, what's up, brother? I just wanted to say I love you and I appreciate you. And then I'm like, you know what, like, Aaron, thank you so much. This is what happened, and I was wondering if I can get some advice. And he gave me that advice. And then yesterday night, on Wednesday night, I texted Aaron saying, hey, brother, I'm so thankful for the advice you gave me last week. I mean, honestly, I don't think I can thank you enough. Like those random unexpected random acts of kindness. I think that's anybody can do that, regardless of you have done
I
hundreds
like
of
it a
deals.
lot. That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a really good one, man. Like I talked a lot about it when I did my podcast with Jamil. Like that's when I talked about it. It's like you really got to say to people like how much I appreciate you, even for really small things, even for things that are like kind of like okay, whatever, but like they did something for you.
Mhm.
Like I have it when agents send me a trash deal or something, right? I'll be like, you know what, this one doesn't work for me, but thank you so much for sending it to me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Instead of like, hey, these numbers are whack and you suck, which like I get that as a wholesaler, and I'm like, man, like screw you, dude. Like what? Like screw you. Like I sold that deal 10 minutes later, you piece of garbage, right? And I just don't want to work with them because they're
Yeah.
idiots. And
Yeah.
it's so true about how that little stuff can make a huge difference. So I really appreciate that.
Well, thank you.
Do you have a morning ritual?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
So wake up at around 4:50,
Holy
and
Jesus, bro.
it is
Why?
it is so hard.
Why do
Uh,
you do that?
but I can't really say it's my morning ritual because I don't do it every single day. Sometimes like I come home from work or like the office and I work even till like 11 p.m., 12 p.m., and I'm just physically exhausted. I was
Yeah,
working like
that's 4
hours.
hours.
Yeah.
Okay, but
So
why? Why are you even trying to do that? What's the idea behind it?
because I get energized when I'm really tired, I don't necessarily get energy from the sleep. I get energized from the things that I do and the people that I talk to.
Okay.
Um, so I kind of start my morning off strict/loose way. Wake up at
No,
4.
first off, why 4:50? Is it because you want more time in the day? Like what's the reasoning?
I want to leave the house
Or you
by
actually
5.
go through it?
I want to go to I want to leave the house by 5 to go to the gym. So
Okay.
10 minutes is just like a buffer.
It's because you want to have enough time for the gym.
Yes.
Okay, so keep going. Sorry. I just
Yeah.
wanted to know why.
Oh yeah. No, at 4:50 I get dressed, wash my face, get to the car. Um, but 4:50, get to the gym around 5:10, and then work out for 40 45 minutes and come home 6, and then 6 to 7 or 6 to 7:30 is when I really read my Bible. Like I
Okay.
spend a lot of time with my Bible. I memorize Bible verses. I pray a lot, and it's
Interesting.
what yeah. So that's my I have it's really hard for me to have a clean vision, clear intention with my day without having that like sacred Bible reading time.
Interesting.
So I have to have that, or in order for me to kind of have a blessed day, I guess. Uh, and then after that, it's I just drive to the office and then just get back to work. But like my Bible reading time is probably one of the most important things for me in order for me to start my day.
Okay. I like it. So talk to me a little about it. It's gym and Bible. So you just talked a lot about why you do the Bible. It's like you can't have a clear vision. It makes it where you have a vision of like what you want to do. I'm assuming why you want to do it too. Or what does
Um,
it give to you? What does the Bible give to you? Let's not do the Bible. Let's do the Bible reading.
Yes.
Morning.
That's such a good question. That is such a good question. So for me, I've always started off my day with my reading my Bible. So for me, at this point, like
Was it
transitioning,
something you grew up with? Like, did your
yes,
parents do that with you?
my parents did not do it with me. I don't know why. I just started focusing on reading my Bible. Even my people at the church wasn't doing it, and I was doing it like by myself.
You don't know why?
Um, um, I really don't know why.
There's got to be a reason why, man. There's
I
got to
feel
be.
like here's I'm gonna
This
say
isn't
this.
a thing that like people do without a reason why.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna say this, and it might not make sense, but I feel like if I spend 1 hour to 1 hours and 30 minutes of reading my Bible to start off my day, I feel like I have way more time.
Interesting. Explain that
Like,
more.
um, so when I'm reading my Bible and I'm like in a hurry, let's say I don't go to the gym and I'm in a hurry, like I read my Bible to get more time. It's such a weird thing that it's really like my pastors, my mentors in church have told me the same thing, and I didn't believe it at first.
It slows you down.
It slows me down, but I also feel like I get more time because everything works more in order. Like my day is more organized, so I feel like I have more day. Um,
Nice.
I
I like
I
it.
know it doesn't make sense. I know it doesn't make
No,
sense.
it makes sense to me. Like I get it. Like I mean, spirituality, at least for me, it's I don't read the Bible, but I do a lot of spiritual stuff too, and more kind of stoicism and other stuff like that,
Mhm.
philosophy and like maybe being one with the universe and all that type of stuff.
Yeah,
But it puts me at peace to a point where I'm able to get more stuff done, which sounds similar to that. It might not be the same thing. I don't know.
yeah.
But yeah, man. I mean, I was just curious. Like, this is why we do it. And then the gym. Why does it have to be in the morning?
Because I'm way too tired at night after.
Yeah.
Because I actually work like 9 to 5 to 6. Like I actually like on the phone all the time. I'm
Do
not
you
like
like it specifically in the morning though, or would you rather it be later?
I'd rather be in the morning because uh, when I get home, I'm just physically tired. I just want to lay in bed and I don't have the motivation to go. So I would just rather get that out of the way. But also, it's one of those like check off list. Okay, I got the morning done. I mean, I got the gym done in the morning, so I can do whatever I want. Let's see what else I can check off the list.
I was curious just because I also do that. Not nearly as early. I go at like 6:30.
Yeah.
And then I go till like 8:30, or I'll do jujitsu. But the reason being is that it makes the rest of my day way better to be sore. I just feel amazing for the rest of the day. I feel like nice, like I'm sore. I feel good. My muscles feel like they worked today. And now I mean, like I do jujitsu too, so it's a little bit different. But with jujitsu, it's like, man, I just got choked out for like 10 minutes. How am I gonna like what? A seller's gonna yell at me? Who gives a crap? Right?
Oh,
That does a lot for me because it like really just makes you realize nothing is really that big of a deal.
uh-huh.
All right, my man, we're starting to get over, but I got a few more questions for you. What is your end goal? What is the big goal business wise?
Business wise, what does that mean?
For instance, for me, my real big goal right now is to make $1 million in revenue this year. That's a huge one for me. I'm going to try to make by June. I'm trying to hit having made my first $1 million in revenue from when I started 2 years ago. And then this whole calendar year, I'm trying to hit a full $1 million, right?
Okay.
That's one of my goals. That's not really what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about in the big goal is like, for me, I want $1 million for my mom, $1 million for my dad, $1 million for my sister, and then enough passive income to cover my expenses. That's my end goal where I'm like, once I've hit this, I've hit what I need to do. And then everything else beyond that is like, I'm just doing it for the fun of it. You can say no if you don't have one yet. Eventually you should make one, but I'm just curious.
I think I have one and want to not run it by you, but I kind of want to hear your thoughts on it. Is I'm from Irvine, and how Irvine or in SoCal is such an expensive market for real estate.
Right.
I do there's a specific area in Southern California that I want a home. It's called Newport Coast, and the homes
Oh
in
yeah.
that area, do you happen to know?
Yeah,
Newport, like
isn't it Newport? Is it like Newport Beach basically?
yeah, basically just a little south of Newport Beach.
I mean, Newport
There's
Beach is famous, bro. Like I definitely know Newport Beach. That's a bougie ass area.
Yeah, and there's a big street called not big street, but Newport Coast is one of the like Pelican Hills, like very very bougie, like 10 million plus real estate. I do want to eventually own a home that has the ocean view, at least side
Nice.
of his house, and just be able to pay it with passive income from my rentals. I
Let's
actually
go, dude.
I actually visualize it every day. Like I literally go on Zillow, look at what's for sale, and then I
Oh yeah,
drive around
bro.
Google Maps. That's what I do, like almost every other day at the very
Let's
least.
do it. I'm so excited for you to achieve that, my man.
Yeah.
Okay. Best mindset book. This is gonna be the last question.
Best mindset book. Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. TR.
Ooh, I've heard of that one. I haven't read it yet.
Oh,
What's your
you
favorite part about it?
It's there's a part in the book that says instead of you getting the money first, it's like you be it, you manifest it, you claim it to the universe, and then it manifests into a
It's very
monetary.
think and grow rich type of stuff.
Yeah, very similar to that. Yeah. So I that's what I that's probably one of my favorite mindset books.
Hell yeah, bro. All right, dude. I'm gonna cut it, but leave the people with how they get in contact with Chaos Kevin. Where are you doing deals? Florida? We're in Florida.
Well, I used to do a lot of deals in Florida with cash deals, but I switched over to working more foreclosures.
Where?
It could be anywhere.
Okay, so nationwide, hit up Kevin. He's gonna be able to close your deals. He's gonna be able to sell them. He can do all of it. How do the people reach you?
Instagram DM is the best way. Is there a way for you to like type in the chat like wholesale?
Yeah, I mean, I will. I mean, it'll show up. I'll figure out a way to make it where people do it. Just what is it? Spell it out.
It's Kevin Choe, KEVINCHOE. 12 at 12.
Do amazing.
Kevin Choe 12. And
anything else you're trying to plug?
No, not really.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys, then I'm gonna end it. Episode 12, Scorch the Fears with Chaos Kevin. It was amazing. Thank you guys for the people who were tuning in. It was a blast. That was fun for me. That was a good one where I got to give you some advice. Usually people are giving me advice, but I got to give you some, which was awesome.
Yeah,
thank you. That was amazing for me. Guys, episode 12. I cannot believe I've been doing this long. I'm going to cut it. I'll see you guys next week, 5 p.m. PST.